Okay, so we're diving straight into the build. First, I struggled a lot with the controls, since this was my first ever actual house before I just messed around with texturing tools, coloring tools, and all that. So I was trying to lay out floors and stuff, but I realized I wanted to do my own. So this was just me drawing walls basically. And I think this is where I started to figure out a floor plan, starting with the living room, which I wanted to make it a little bit smaller, and then a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, which was pretty easy to do. Now, this is a reminder that this video was made during the demo, or recorded during the demo, so this is why I'm building the demo, not in the actual world. In the studio, not in the actual world, because this was before its time. Now, what I did have struggling with was these little gaps in the walls, which was confusing me on why it was not becoming actual rooms. I was like, what's going on? Why is the floor not appearing like it should? And that's when I realized there were gaps in the walls, which I didn't even know was possible. So I had to fix those. But once I fixed the gaps, it worked. And I did not realize how large stairs were, so I did end up scooting that hallway back. As so. Created more rooms. I do think this house had bigger rooms than it should have. I definitely made a lot of mistakes that I would have not done now. But I wanted to go ahead and make an upper story. Again, struggling with those gaps. And I wanted a big deck out front as well, along with 2 kids, a grandmother, a study room, master bedroom, etc. And I was basically just fixing all the gaps in the walls. It's a lot. But here I was adding windows. The windows look extremely nice in this game, I must say. Very beautiful, and I love how I can just copy and paste all of them. I wanted to do a big couch with some light beige pink colors. I thought it looked nice. Went ahead and added in some lights, and I noticed the lights don't really make that much of a difference. You really just have to put in a lot of windows. And I was actually struggling with a front door because there were so many options and I haven't even actually looked at doors. But I did eventually decide on one. And here the lighting was starting to look pretty amazing. I love this tile, but I ended up going with the wood, even though I probably shouldn't have. And ended up going with this stone-ish floor. I kind of wish now I had chosen the other one just because it looked really pretty the way it was reflecting. Like the lighting was really gorgeous. And then I ended up going with a tiled wall, which was also an odd choice. I haven't went back to this footage in a while, just because I've been waiting on a better mic. Now I was painting the outside, and I ended up going with this like tiled brick, like this light pinkish color on the outside, which I thought looked really good. Looking back on this now, I didn't even add a front porch, like at all. Like I didn't even try, but I just thought it wouldn't look good, I guess. Going back now, I would have probably added a porch, or at least I've attempted to make some sort of porch. But again, I'm not a professional builder, nor was I in The Sims. I went with this like cozy lounge, and then I discovered the cushions, which I wanted to place them wherever I wanted to, but that wasn't an option yet. But I thought that was like amazing. I could see a lot of potential builds. I ended up placing some on this couch right here and just copying and pasting. I found a nice rug, which I ended up all placing everything to get it in the exact position. In case you haven't noticed yet, I was going for a very modern house. Very 21st century. And I wanted to look clean. And then I had trouble with the Alt tool. Here I wasn't even holding down the Alt, but it was having a really hard time rotating. So I ended up going in and out of the game. And that seemed to fix the problem. Again, this was the demo. So it was gonna have way more problems than it probably does now. This is where I was messing around with the texture tool, putting a beluga cat. But I did find a really nice photo that kind of matched with the aesthetic of this room, I suppose. I was surprised at the time that a chair wouldn't snap on, but I did eventually move on from the chair and start messing around with the hallway. Here I was putting this same tile, same stone as I was putting in the living room, which I had trouble with those gaps in the wall again, with it not creating the separate room. So I was like, why is there stone in every room? And then it ended up deleting the floor, and then that's when I realized I just had gaps in the wall, so I had to go back and fix that, and then fix the gaps in the wall. And I was about to go in like a psychopath and do every single individual tile. Eventually I find the gap. I don't think it was here, but I did eventually find the gap. But here I started in with the kitchen. I found these veneer countertops and just copied and pasted the cabinets. And that's what I saw, all the appliances in this game, and I was overwhelmed. But at the same time I was thinking, what if there's too much space? Because in The Sims, there was always too much space. And it did end up happening in this house, but not in the kitchen. I just didn't think there was enough, at least at this point. And I was like, oh my goodness, there's so many appliances. So I ended up making it bigger or smaller, I don't remember. I ended up making it bigger because I was like, there's so many appliances, I gotta get them all in. Now I started adding in upper cabinets, changing the colors, adding in the corner cabinets, changing the colors again, just copying and pasting. It was a lot of copying and pasting. It's basically what the kitchen was. I wanted to snap on bar stools, but they didn't go as close as I wanted them to. So I ended up just deleting those and adding in a dining table, which leads us to the dining room. I wanted to snap another dining table on, but that wasn't gonna work. So I just changed the chair color and snapped them onto the other side with some effort. Now here's where I somehow lost all of the footage of me doing the rest of the dining room and the laundry room, but nevertheless, going into it, this was me basically wrapping up the laundry room, just adding in some basic supplies like broom, laundry machines, a vacuum, and starting with the back porch. So I added in a nice stone at the back. Added in a fence, which didn't want to go on the top, which I did later find out that there was like actual decking, but by this point I didn't even know. So I just added in some chairs, changed it to the wood tone that I liked, and added a few benches, umbrellas, and some other things as well, which you will see. I started adding some plants. And here's where I added the umbrella. I had a hard time getting it over both of the chairs, but I ended up just coloring the umbrella and getting it over with. And that's where I found the actual decking, but I didn't want to go in and have to put in all of it at once. So I just put it in an easel, changed my mind about the guitar, put in a workbench, and just started putting blinds on every single window.
The number you have dialed is not available at present.
I added in a car. I found some graffiti. Then I found some nice canopy lights, which was my favorite part. It looked really amazing at nighttime. And here in the dining room, I decided, let me just do the same tile I did from the living room. So I took a break, came back, and did some more building. And started adding in some windows to the front. And there's where I finally found the gaps in the walls. I started noticing them again. But here was where I went in with the kids' room. I just tried to do some cloud wallpaper. It didn't look that great, to be completely honest. You could tell it was definitely scaled up a lot, but it works. And it does suit a kid's bedroom to have a lot of clouds. I added in some windows where it started to glitch out a little bit. I guess where I put the custom wallpaper, not really positive why that was happening. But I put it in some fabric tiles, changed the color to fit the walls, to match the walls. And I just added in that same wallpaper I tried to put on initially on the walls, and just added them to the beds.